place was originally built in 1842 and had been renovated twice over the years to accommodate more inmates. And up until the early 20th century, a lot of people had been hanged here.
Tonight we're at the Peterborough Jail, which is closed now for 10 years, 15 years, which is still, everything seems to be exactly, it just looks like everybody just picked up and walked out.
Over the years, many things have been reported, such as shadow figures, which has probably been the most reported thing. People being here for a tour and seeing something from the corner of their eye. People have heard voices, and then another thing that's been reported is that they've heard doors slamming.
So for me, this is my second time investigating this location. So far tonight, we've come in, we've done our baseline sweeps, we've set up our DVR system. We've basically done a walk around and educated everybody on it who hasn't been here before. We've had a few things happen already, so I think it's going to be a really good night.
We do have a constant EMF field here, so it's kind of hard to use the EMF detectors tonight to rule anything out or try to find anything in that aspect.
The last time we were here, we had a few things happen when we were just setting up, including a really big crash, a metallic crash, which we were never able to figure out what the source of that was.
When we were here last time, we had a few things happen early in the night. It quieted off and it was a good investigation. Tonight I have a feeling it's going to be very active.
We've done a walkthrough with everybody, and we've had a few things happen with just a cell door seeming to close by itself.
When we were doing our walkthrough, we had a couple of instances that where we may have had a jail door swing closed on its own.
We're still unsure whether Rob inadvertently moved the cell door on his way out. We don't know, but it did slam pretty hard. I wasn't even anywhere near it.
Did we go into this cell?
I went into that cell, so that could have been.
Okay.
Yeah, that could have been. So maybe I came out of it and just
left it open.
Left it open like that, and it went on its own.
Time that.
Time
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4,
Definitely.
5, 6,
Could be
7.
It was way harder than
It
that.
was harder.
But it could have started
I
with
did
that.
not come out and push that door at all. I'm pretty sure when I came out, the door was like that. But
I went down one of the side hallways, which is known as the riot hallway. Down there, the temperature got very, very cold. My hair was standing on up on my arms. I heard voices. It sounded like a muddled conversation, which I thought was other people setting up. But as I moved further down the hallway, I realized it was coming from the end of the hallway, which doesn't connect to anything. I immediately saw Shane at the end of the hallway.
Myself and Paul both had hair stand up on our arms, heard conversation, which we thought was the rest of the team, but it was not, and just an overall nervous, edgy feeling.
We came back about 5 minutes later and rechecked it. So I left my audio recorder there, which I'll check later and find out if we caught anything. But we did return and the temperature was back to normal.
We were outside, just checking the outside courtyard area where the Gallows is. On our way back in, I thought I saw a shadow under the door. The door which came back in was open ajar, and the light was streaming out. And I thought I saw a shadow go by, although it could very well have just been, a trick of my eyes.
The plan for tonight is we have 5 people, so we're going to do what I call a rotating investigation, where for a period of time we have the one person monitoring the DVR station. The other 2 teams will be taking their time, one outside and one inside at any given time, to not interfere with each other.
Because just going in, it's probably the first time in my short proof career, if you will, that I feel nervous and a little bit, I don't want to say scared. I'm not scared, but I find myself checking over my shoulder a little more than I have on any other investigation so far.
What I find with this place is it's the creepiness when you're walking through the halls and it's dark and you don't know what's around that next corner. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens tonight, if anything. We are outside. Behind me is the actual, well, it's a replica Gallows. out here there were people that were hanged. I think a total of 6 people were hanged out here.
I purposely did not do any research on this before I came because I didn't want to go in expecting something to happen in certain areas, so I could go in really open-minded.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't know whether it's just the idea of being where countless people have been put to death, but I do have a very odd feeling out here. I'm currently rolling on my recorder, so hopefully if somebody is here that has been put to death, you'll communicate with us and let us know that you're here.
So this is Paul and Rob, and we're in the riot hallway, riot cells, and it's about 10:10 on Saturday evening.
Currently the hall is cold again. A little uneasy feeling.
Was that bang?
I heard that bang.
Did it sound above?
It sounded above. You want to run and check it?
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we're just gonna run and check. And they're outside, right?
They're outside.
Their names were Barry and Connick. They were executed simultaneously right here.
So they may be the ones that we should try and talk to.
I hope I pronounced your name properly. Are you here with us today?
Okay.
You have the walkie, call down to Brad.
Yeah, I'll get this right. Hey, Brad? Yeah, if you could just make a note, the upstairs cells where the tables are, we just don't seem to remember if one of the cell doors was completely wide open. It is now, and we just don't remember if it was or not. So if we can maybe take a look at that, say half an hour before or something when we're done.
Yeah, looking at it now.
Okay, and we came upstairs because we were in the room there and heard a large bang.
You're a large bang coming from upstairs?
We did, yep. I wonder, I'm gonna, let's go back to that room, Paul, for a second, just see if that door, if the bang was, this light isn't working.
You want mine? No.
No. I just heard that as well.
Yeah. That was a shower. Or could have been the hallway.
Yeah. Oh. I just heard footsteps behind me, and it was not me.
Okay, do you want
Yeah.
to stop and do it?
Let's just stop for a sec, yeah.
Are you able to come forward and talk to us? Make a noise, give us a sign that you're here.
We'd like to have a sign from you if you are still here. You can do anything. There's lots of loose gravel here. You know, pick up a piece of gravel, throw it. There's a couple of doors, actually 3 doors that are wide open right now. Feel free to close any of those doors. Just make a sound or do something visual that we can see to know that you're here.
Were you buried out here as well?
Okay, if there's anyone here with us, we'd like to communicate with you. We're not here to disrespect you. We're not here to frighten you. We're not here to chase you.
That's me.
Can you make another noise, please, to let us know it's you?
I thought I heard you walk up behind me as I came into the room here a moment ago. Was that you?
Can you make the bang you made earlier that made us come upstairs?
for a minute. Maybe one of us can go downstairs and we can just maybe bang that jail cell door on that bench and see if that's a similar noise.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe it was muffled or something.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go down?
Sure.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There is sounds in here. I think it might still be the pigeons. Listen. Yeah. Sorry, pigeons, Jesus. Jeez, okay, let's leave you alone. We'll leave you alone, pigeons. Don't hurt yourselves.
Okay, so Rob and I heard a bang. We've come upstairs. We're investigating the upstairs hallway right now. Rob had footsteps come up behind him, and he's gone back down. I'm going to check the sound to make sure it wasn't the same sound. Okay, I'm checking now, Rob. Softer? Because I don't remember this being open at all.
Oh, it sounded very similar to me.
Yeah?
If you don't mind, do you want to go down and see if you can confirm that?
Absolutely.
Okay, because it sounded it to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come forward and tell us how this makes you feel that we're standing in here. Why did you do the horrible crimes that ended up costing you your life? Well, Ben and I came out to the Gallows here, and we did an EVP session, so we'll play that back and see if we got anything. We did go into the other side there and scared a bunch of pigeons, which scared me a little bit, I have to be honest. But other than that, it's been pretty flat out here. Just feels like a normal courtyard to me. Even standing in the Gallows, no ill feelings whatsoever.
Yeah, like every time it seems like Rob and I get to one area, everything wants to happen on the other side.
Other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Mischievous.
Yeah. To me, it's like, it'll be like all childlike, almost like if it's a kid or something, and be like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, and then all of a sudden it just changes. Like, it doesn't get evil. It just has a prankster side. Like, it's a different personality will snap in.
Yeah.
They'd be like, I'm gonna try and scare you guys. I'm gonna be doing this. I'm gonna run around and I'm just gonna frustrate you guys. I'm gonna keep you guys running in a circle, and then it'll come back again and be like, oh, I'm really sorry. And I get meek again. Like, and the energy will kind of. But yeah, every time it seems to ramp up, like you feel it. You can actually feel its personality changing, and then something will happen.
I can't imagine the fear someone may have felt. I mean, whether obviously they did wrong if they were going to get executed,
I
but
hope.
I just can't imagine the fear.
Especially walking down there and seeing it
Yeah,
as you came
yeah.
toward it.
As you're coming, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. As you're coming through and seeing the Gallows.
Yeah. And they hung them. They said they hung them mostly during the day.
Wow. Wow, just an odd feeling I had right now.
And I don't know if you know the history of the outside here.
I don't. I tried to come in a little bit fresh. I don't know.
So every member, well, not member, but every person who was hung
Okay.
was unceremoniously buried here on this ground. They didn't actually know it until they went to lay this concrete. They tore up everything was here, and they found
Skeletons.
and they had to DNA match him. There's only, out of all, I think it's 5
Okay.
people that were hung here, only one wasn't, and that was
Okay.
the 17-year-old. His family begged and pleaded and paid for him to be buried in the cemetery.
I see.
So he's the
Okay.
only one that wasn't unceremoniously buried.
And then they were moved from
They were
there?
moved, yeah,
Okay, so...
and given a proper burial.
Are there any spirits that are left here that were executed on these grounds? It's so tough. There's so much background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I feel very anxious right now. My heart's going.
It's funny, coming up the stairs, I felt slightly anxious too. Right now in this part, you'll hear a buzzing. We have an EM pump running. Shane says he feels quite uneasy. I actually felt a little uneasy coming up the stairs, so does it have anything to do with the electromagnetic pump or something else? I don't know.
I've settled down a little bit. Just rounding that corner coming into this hall was, my heart was going. I just felt really uneasy coming in here. I feel okay now, but let's see what happens.
Climb up it.
If you're here, did you deserve it? Did you deserve what happened to you? An eye for an eye?
Only you know the truth, whether you actually did what you were accused of.
This is your chance to right any wrongs. You can tell us whether you did it or not. If you did, you did. You can confess it. If you didn't, here's your chance to say you didn't, but be honest.
What did you do to get in here? I want to see you move one of these cell doors. Because right now I think it was just coincidental that it closed.
And if I get close to where you were buried, make a noise. So at least we know we're standing close to you, or where you were. There's lots of debris on the ground you can move. There's lots of metal to bang on. So if I get close to where you were, let me know. Was I close?
When Paul and Rob were doing their walk around up here, they kept hearing voices and people and somebody banging. If that was you, do it for us.
It's odd, I actually kind of feel a little sick.
Is that a sound?
Yeah.
Okay, that way, right? Was it that way?
Was that you? Can you make that sound again?
Just a note, Shayna and I just heard the voices, but it was right at the back, and it turns out it was Rob and Paul outside.
I know this isn't the gallows you were hung on. It's been rebuilt. Does this remind you of anything? Does this annoy you that I can come up here and do this? Does it bother you tourists come through and walk where you were born, buried? That they come through here and enjoy where you were killed?
I do, yeah. Should radio them, see if they're talking.
Paul and Rob, are you talking right now?
I was talking, we were talking pretty low.
Whereabouts are you?
The Green Mile.
So, oh, you're downstairs?
We're just in between the gallows and the main building.
Okay, thanks.
I can, let me, at the same sound as the same phone I was talking, I'll count to 5 and back and see if that's me.
Okay, great, that'd be good.
It's hard to get. If he was probably talking loud, because it was way louder than that.
Yeah, we thought we heard that.
It's an interesting thing we'll have to listen to.
Alright, that's fine. It's on the outside of
Yeah.
the gallows, we're
Yeah.
the opposite side of it.
Brad and Shane working here?
What's that?
Is that Brad and Shane working here?
Probably. Are you... Brad, are you guys talking? Can you do a test? Can you count to 10?
Yep, starting now.
Cool, we're hearing voices then. It's coming from up there. Or is it second floor?
Let's take a look.
It sounded like it was on this floor though. So it might be the other side of the cell.
Yeah, let's try this.
Hearing voices from where you get.
We were in the riot area, but we think it was coming from the opposite cell block. We're gonna head there now. It was upstairs at the cell closed, right?
Yeah.
Do you hang in this very spot that I'm standing? How did it feel walking down that aisle, walking down that hallway, walking up the stairs to the gallows, having that noose slipped around your neck? How did it feel when the hangman tightened that noose around your neck and made it nice and tight and looked at you dead in the eye and then pulled that lever where you fell down and broke your neck and hanged to death?
Fine here. Pardon? Did somebody not just like kind of moan or sing through the radio?
Or say over something.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's what.
You fooling around, Rob? I swear that was like a...
Almost sound like maybe it would pick up a guard.
Yeah.
Because one thing sort of said something over. It sounded like.
Did somebody say over?
That was a little weird.
Is anybody here who wants to speak?
You guys have whistling too?
We heard the whistling, but we heard a low voice say over through the radio.
I didn't hear that.
Come out. Let's play.
Was that the... That was weird.
Somebody not just like kind of moan or sing through the radio?
Yeah, I heard that.
Negative. Say over.
Better mark that on audio. Because it's right beside your hand, so...
Yeah, mark those transactions, Rob. Do you guys hear that whistling too?
We heard the whistling, but we heard a low voice say over through the radio.
I didn't hear that.
I did.
You did? Hit the
Yeah.
over?
Yeah. I heard some... I didn't know... I didn't make out what they said,
Did anybody whistle?
but I definitely heard a voice come over the radio.
No whistling here.
Okay, just so everybody knows that, okay, as long as none of us whistled, that whistle sound that we heard was the tune from Bridge on the River Kwai, which I was talking about earlier.
Hey, and just after you guys were just talking about the whistle, I heard the whistle again.
Okay, cool.
Where did Rob hear it?
Was it live, Rob, or on the radio?
It was live. As soon as I heard it, it almost reminded me of somebody, like a guard walking down the hallway just whistling.
We thought we heard
Now, a little while ago, I just demonstrated the whistle to Paul. It wasn't just like a few seconds ago, was it?
Could have been that, yeah, maybe 15 seconds ago or so now.
Okay, I'm going to do it again and tell me if it is it. Was that what you heard?
Got you.
Okay,
What about the radio though?
the radio wasn't. Nobody said he whistled.
Yeah, but even the what we heard before that, whoever was talking through the radio.
You'll have to figure that out when we get downstairs and get everybody together, so I'm going to do it back and forth on the radio. Because it sounded at first like somebody was trying to get through on the radio, but it was staticky.
Yeah,
And then we had, it almost sounded like somebody else talking, not one of us.
it was low.
And it was like, and one of them almost sounded like said over, like you should do on the radio, like we aren't. And then we had that whistling, which is just bizarre because it was the tune from Bridge of the River Kwai, which is what I was talking to
Probably about at the desk.
Well, overall, I think it was a very active investigation.
Most of the stuff that we encountered, at least from my standpoint, were audible. Footsteps, some whistling, some talking we heard as well, maybe some jail door banging.
A lot more active than the last time I was here. There seemed to be a lot more sounds, little banging sounds, ticking sounds. A lot of it could have been just, temperature changes. Who knows?
There were a lot of things that we heard. Voices, bangs that seemed to happen on command. Paul, on a couple of occasions, was kind of provoking it.
If anybody's caught outside, you guys are going into solitary. Got it? Let's move it!
Tonight was actually a lot more alive than I thought. Last time we were here, we had a few things happen, and this time I really topped that by a mile. A lot of responses, a lot of noises, just a lot of feelings that we got this time around.
For me, the most interesting part and the hardest to explain was when Paul and I were up in a room on the second floor.
That's right.
The whistling was very similar to the tune from the bridge on the River Kwai. Now, what's really interesting about that is I had been talking to Rob just about the movie The Bridge on the River Kwai and saying it was a really cool movie about maybe 15 minutes before that, and all of a sudden we have whistling on the walkie-talkies that wasn't one of us to the tune from Bridge on the River Kwai. So that was pretty cool.
I didn't have a lot of things happen to me personally tonight, but I know the other guys did, and I'll be interested to really see, hopefully when they had their audio recorders going or the video cameras going, that they captured some of the stuff that they were experiencing.